Hello YouTube. This is an update on my Invoker. It's level 81. I've not done the other two labs yet. I really actually don't feel required to. Like, I've already done red tier maps and just blowing up screens, and it's literally just not required. Like, the gear, this build is just absolutely insane. What makes Invoker like so good? This node. Lead me through grace. Look at my spirit. I have 216 spirit. Absolutely insane. So what am I using that spirit for? I'm using it for Herald of Ice, linked with Cold Infusion, Magnified Effect, Ambush, Grim Feast, linked to absolutely nothing. Wind Dancer, linked with Blind and Energy Barrier. Ghost Dance, linked with Fast Forward. Elemental Invocation, this is basically just Unleash for my Eye of Winter, linked with Strip Away and Cold Exposure, and then Combat Frenzy, linked with Profusion. Combat Frenzy for Charged Staff, Basic Tech, Ice Strike, Martial Tempo, Ice Bite, Primal Armament, and Rage. Rage is insanely good. You can hit the bell to gain Rage, and that make bell good. Additionally, you can, that rage scaling will work on Herald of Ice and increase the amount of damage Herald of Ice is dealing. Ice Bite increases the amount of damage that the Herald of Ice is doing. So my Herald of Ice is basically just instant deleting the entire screen. On my Cholula Monk, it was a lot harder to get that kind of effect. I really should have just done Rage. I think Rage would have been enough to make it happen. The other things that I'm doing that I couldn't do on my Cholula Monk, just because I was just so starved for passive points to like get so much different quality of life stuff that I really don't feel like you need in a build like this, is Snowpiercer. Snowpiercer is basically making it so that like the Herald of Ice pops are just like one-shotting rares. It's really nice. Occasionally a rare will live, but it's usually probably like a density related thing, or like the mobs like were just a little too far away, or they just have like the cold res modifier or whatever. That's really the only reason so far that I've come across that like a rare survives in mapping. It's just density issue. As you can tell, I'm not taking the staff nodes because I'm not stupid. I have a 50% chance to crit and a 100% chance to hit an enemy within 2 meters, so why the fuck would I ever take this? I'm not stupid. Don't need it. I've learned my lesson with like this quarterstaff stick wheel thing. Is just, it's all bad. There's nothing good here. There's absolutely nothing good here. Please rework this entire thing. GGG. It is utter dog shit. I don't like it. All the other nodes are just so much better. Like, it makes no sense. For Struck Through, I use this to calculate how much the Eye of Winter is actually giving me. So Eye of Winter is giving me 34% crit chance. So if we look at our crit chance over here, I go all the way up to 84% while bossing, and it is like up 100% of the time. It's absolutely insane. So even though I've only played this character for like a couple of hours of mapping, like maybe 5 hours, I've died 3 times total. 1 time in the campaign because I forgot that the Act 2 boss, when I was in cruel mode, did a stupid sandstorm shit, and my damage was bad because I wasn't high enough level to equip a 59 stick. So yeah, just stupid. I was also being stubborn and not using charge staff on this character for the longest time, but yeah, that's one of my deaths, and the other 2 deaths were because I was leveling from 64 from campaign all the way up to 75 so I could start equipping some of my gear that I have in SSF. So like this helmet basically just like lets me like use a different belt, use different gloves, use a different chest, use a different ring, and that's how I'm getting my resistances. The lightning res can go up, but I can also divine and increase the quality up another 2% on this, so it'll get fixed. It's not a question of like how is it going to get fixed. It's just a matter of when, like whatever drops first, divine or quality. I don't know if another 2% is enough to throw it over another threshold, but it is what it is. The one major con that I have about this build is that Elemental Invocation just destroys your mana. So if you don't have Leech, like, you're just screwed. Basically, because of Eye of Winter, like, insta-popping the bell, I put a bell down, like, when I'm around, like, basically you Ice Strike, build up your Rage, put the bell down, go back to Ice Striking, and for, like, 2-3 hits, and then I will use the Charge Staff, and then I'll use Eye of Winter. Eye of Winter, if I have like 20% mana, will basically drain me all the way down to 0. Maybe I'll have like an extra cast in the bin, basically, but then the Tempest Spell will just instantly explode, and then I'll be up to like full mana again without ever having to press my Mana Flask, because the Tempest Spell is just hitting so hard. It is getting shocked because it has like no ailment threshold, basically, so any amount of lightning damage is enough to shock it, and then it creates shock ground underneath it, which will automatically shock the boss even if I don't have flat lightning damage on my stick. And then my Herald Device is doing a small amount of lightning damage, so it will eventually shock between that and the shockwave from Charge Staff. I have a level 19 Charge Staff from my other character, so once I'm level 84, I'll just equip that, and it's just an auto-win button. It does have 4 sockets, so what am I putting in those sockets? Electrocute. That's what I'm putting into it. So by the time I'm level 90, I plan on having Electrocution and the Blinding Strike back into the build, but Electrocution is absolutely insane. If you combine that with the Unbound Avatar, I already know that this is just going to be disgusting. 40% more elemental damage, 40% more elemental ailment buildup, and 80% chance to inflict elemental ailments while unbound. This means that you are going to have a much higher chance to shock the enemy. You're going to be doing 40% more damage and then 40% ailment buildup, and then the 80% more chance to inflict elemental ailments. 80% more is like 200% increased chance to shock. Like, it's absolutely insane. So you basically need like a tiny amount of lightning damage to actually shock an enemy. Absolutely insane. And this lasts like just a ludicrously long amount of time. So basically do that entire combo, and then once I pop the Eye of Winter, then pop Unbound Avatar and go back to Ice Strike, Tempest Spell, Ice Strike, Tempest Spell, Ice Strike, Tempest Spell, and then basically Eye of Winter whenever you can. And yeah, it's gonna be nuts. I already know it's gonna be nuts. I don't even have it equipped. Another thing about Tempest Spell is that Tempest Spell, the Shockwave, deals 30% more damage per elemental ailment. I tried testing this out and I couldn't determine if you can actually electrocute the bell. If it is getting electrocuted, I have no indication of that. The only thing that I could test, and I'm kind of just realizing that now, is that Combat Frenzy when you electrocute. So if I stand away from, like, imagine, I don't know, Danig here is the bell. If I have Charge Staff active and then I drop the bell and then I'm standing this far away, only the Charge Staff is going to hit it. So maybe that's what I need to test, is like, am I gaining power charges from that? Because it doesn't have any animation. I already tested it. Like, it doesn't have an animation. It doesn't like get coated in like lightning damage or anything. It doesn't like do like that stunning like thing that like the bosses do. So I don't know for certain. Another thing is my Anoint. All this ailment shit, like with the Harness the Elements, like I'm already chilling, freezing, shocking, and I'm gonna be electrocuting, but this node, this is insane, and this is insanely cheap. 30% increased magnitude of non-damaging ailments. So what are non-damaging ailments? Chill, freeze, shock, and electrocute. So every ailment that I'm doing. So just 30% increased effect of the ailments that I'm dealing. So yeah, I believe magnitude scales the duration. I'm not entirely certain what magnitude is actually doing. But I believe it might scale the duration. I feel like GGG is like just, this is like a question that like if I had a podcast and GGG would answer things like, what does magnitude actually do for non-damaging ailments. Like, huh? That's. I have a few other questions that I would like to ask, but because there's like very specific mechanics that like do not have any indication of how they actually function in game. I know if we had PoB, we'd be able to just PoB it. But basically, I'm getting like a 30% plus shock on a boss when I physically shock the boss. But because I can shock the bow, and the bow will leave shocked ground no matter what, there's going to be shocked ground. And then you combine that with the electrocution, 20% increased damage taken. So between the like 30% shock that I'm applying and the electrocution, that's like 50% more damage. That's a lot of more damage, and it scales off of everything. So like the charged staff will be doing a little bit more damage, the Tempest spell will be doing a lot more damage, and then like the rage scaling all three of those abilities, and then elemental invocation basically just giving me like flat like 80% chance to crit in my current with my current stick. So yeah, just really good. I don't feel like I need to show you a mapping video. Video's already too long in my opinion. But basically, if you've ever seen a Herald of Ice, Ice Strike bullshit, it's exactly that. Like the entire screen. I mean, the entire screen just like instantly deletes. It's insane. It's a lot of fun. GG, please no nerf. If you do nerf, I'm putting an unset ring in, and I'm running Herald of Thunder. Like, I'll figure it out. I'll figure out the spirit. I'll run Herald of Thunder. I'll drop Grim Feast. Like, don't make me do it. I'll drop Grim Feast. I'll drop, I don't know, Wind Dancer or Ghost Dance. Like, I'll drop something. I'll do anything for the clear. Don't make me do it. But yeah, that's the build. Quarterstaff node's bad. Snowpiercer good. Give Int. Give Cold Pen. Harness the Elements good. Efficiency is key. Efficiency is key with your passive tree. But yeah, I'm thoroughly enjoying it. This is so much better quality of life, and this would just be absolutely insane. Like, because at my current gearing, I should just have Unbound Avatar. I should have had Unbound Avatar like 20 levels ago, but I just don't feel needed. And if I was in like an SSF reset instead of just SSF, Unbound Avatar would be like fixing all my damage problems, even with like a bad stick and everything else like that. But yeah, just absolutely insane. Like 10 out of 10 would recommend. Play Invoker, never play Chayula. Chayula is like the worst Ascendency in the game, possibly out of like all 36 that exist in the like GGG like own private test server, whatever the hell they're cooking up. I honestly think it's probably the worst Ascendency in the entire game. Like all the other ones that they have that nobody knows anything about, myself included, I guarantee all the other ones are all better. The only one that might be on par with, actually no, Infernalist is better. But yeah, that's it for this video. Already long enough. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.